Hello, everyone, and welcome to a fresh edition of ESPN FC. I'm Alexis Nunes alongside Casey Keller and Craig Burley. Oh, my days. A very busy day in terms of World Cup qualifiers. We just finished watching. Well, this is what you can look at for the group standings. Portugal there. They have clinched. They will directly go, as we saw from Republic of Ireland. They finish in second, so they're going to go into the playoffs. All right, Craig. So, as you said, no Ronaldo, no problem. Are they better off without Cristiano?
No, but well, I'm surprised we're talking about this. I mean, 9-1 Armenia, no easy games at international football. This is what Portugal have sort of done in qualification process over the past few years. They've demolished most of the team, scored a lot of goals, have dominated. Obviously, Ronaldo, we're awaiting his, unless I've missed it, we're awaiting his.
I don't think it's been announced
his
yet.
Disciplinary hearing and what they're going to do and how many they're going to give him. Is it 1? Is it 2? Is it 3? Is he going to miss games at the World Cup or not? Obviously, Gonzalo Ramos from PSG started, but you cannot judge this Portuguese team against Armenia. As I said during the highlight, they have a lot of very good players, a lot. The problem Roberto Martinez has is making sure he has the right balance between this super attacking Portuguese team and a team that, when they play the better teams at the World Cup, which they will do, is able to have the right structure to defend when everybody else is piling forward. So, yeah, we'll get that answer at the World Cup, and I would imagine, the big discussion will be Ronaldo once we hear what the suspension is.
Casey, what did you think?
Oh yeah, I mean, Portugal have been consistent. There has been that conversation. Are they better with Ronaldo off the bench? Are they better with them starting? But Ronaldo just kept scoring goals. I mean, every time they during qualifying, he was always on the score sheet. But you obviously see that they're clearly more than just Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yes.
And there is an argument to be made that there could be moments, I think, in those matches that Craig was talking about, when they're playing the better sides, can they afford to maybe have a Ronaldo playing where he can't track and defend and be more of that? Does it make more sense maybe in those matches to put on somebody that can help them keep the ball out of the back of the net? Because we know they have talent all over the pitch to score goals.
He scored twice against Portugal, which got them to this stage that gave them a chance. I mean, the thought process and after going into that Portugal game was Portugal were going to win. Ronaldo, who was sent off but star-studded, João Neves, Vitinho, all these players, they were going to roll up and beat Ireland. They did not, and that gave the Irish the opportunity to go to Budapest, which again, Hungary are a higher ranked side. They have players playing at a higher level than the Irish lads. But just the organisation, the belief, and then obviously 5 goals in 2 games from a young guy, and you could just see the emotion there. To give his country the opportunity to go to the World Cup via this playoff system is just amazing. I can only imagine, the scenes at the game, but what it was like in Dublin.
Scenes in Dublin,
Ireland, the pub, the Guinness would have get big.
I wish we were there, man.
But I think the other side of it now is they have to. I mean, I know the playoffs aren't until March, so I mean, there's lots of time to be able to kind of get back to reality. Because imagine it being like next weekend, and thinking after what they've done to get themselves into this situation, to try to calm down and play the matches to get there. So now it's about, going back to your clubs, having plenty of time to get organized for the playoffs.
I've watched some of the Republic games I mentioned it sort of briefly during the highlights. There's been a lot of countries that have really suffered a big decline, right? Scotland being one of them, Norway being another. There are many. Norway are going to their first World Cup in 28 years. The Irish, if you remember, back in the day, particularly the 90s, with the Roy Keanes of this world and players like that, and then on to the World Cup. It was at 2002 when Roy disappeared, but that was still a star-studded Irish team with players playing at Liverpool and
Robbie Keane,
Jason McAteer and Matty Holland, and just guys that were all playing Premier League. Even this Irish team doesn't really have that, but they hit new lows. And for them to have this opportunity, I believe the new coach is Icelandic, the organisation, having these moments, but to go and do it away from home in Hungary and Budapest, when really I think most even Irish fans looking at this group at the start would probably have not given them much of a chance, is just brilliant. So yeah, to take it to the last day, fantastic, and what a week for Troy Parrott. I mean, he may or may not ever experience this kind of feeling again.
All right, well, just have a look at this graphic when we talk about goal scorers in 2026 World Cup qualifying in the UEFA Confederation. Erling Haaland, just no surprise here, a cut above the rest. 16 goals to his name. All right, let's have a look at the group standings. And as I said, Italy really needed a miracle to win by 9, so now they find themselves in the playoffs. As for Norway, they were able to clinch directly, and we will see them at the World Cup next year. And our Yana Gafurtov must be celebrating somewhere. But Craig,
He is. I was texting him during the game.
were you? Was he nervous?
No.
Well, bearing in mind they needed 9 goals.
But he says he wasn't ready to, call it just yet.
Well, I
but
think-
overall, the story is Italy, isn't it?
Well, is it? I mean,
Well, this is a big slap for Gattuso.
well, not really. They're not a very good side. I mean, and Gattuso's not a very good manager. I mean, let's be honest about it. And he's got a big mouth. And he was moaning about the qualification process midweek. I mean, engage the brain. Norway won 8 out of 8.
Yep.
Right?
Comfortably.
24 points. Goals galore. And Italy were second best. That's why they are second. But I think in terms of the game, Norway played like a team that just didn't want to be too open in the first half. And they knew that, like, don't lose 3 or 4 and all of a sudden make it nervous. So they didn't really play their own game in the first half. The second half they did, and they were brilliant. Not just the goals, the way that Norway passed it. And they passed it through this Italian team with ease at the San Siro. The midfield was brilliant. Nusa was brilliant in the wide position. Oscar Bob came on, did his little tricks, and Haaland was Erling Haaland. So Norway, and that's what I talk about. The transfer, and they had no Martin Odegaard still, and 1 or 2 others. So it wasn't a full Norway side. The transformation under Ståle Solback and this Norway team is incredible. It's not just they're winning a group, it's the way they're playing, it's the goals they're scoring, it's the service to Erling Haaland, and it's the structure within the team. And they are going to be, they're not going to win the World Cup, look, but they are going to be a difficult game for anybody at the World Cup.
Nobody's going to want them in their draw.
Correct.
Because you're going to come from, they're probably not going to be seeded, so they're going to be in that, and some seeded is going to go, oh, really?
Yeah.
This is who we're going to get? Because they know they're going to be in a match. They're going to have to defend extremely well against, arguably right now, next to Harry Kane, the best striker in the world. And then it's not like you can just focus on him. Sorlot's going to cause you problems. Strand Larsen's going to cause you problems. Other players from midfield are going to cause you problems. I mean, it is a side that is again, it's going to be a side that nobody is going to want in their group.
And Italy are just... This isn't a surprise. And I was talking about it in midweek. Tongue in cheek. I said, I hope Norway give them a pasting. But because I was annoyed a little bit about Italy's coach and this elite attitude about, roll out the red carpet, they should be at the World Cup. The World Cup will survive without them, whether they get there through a playoff.
It has before.
Or not, yes. This group stage at the start, Italy had to be better than Norway, and Norway beat them home and away. It's as simple as that. But this Italian team, I liken them to Germany at the moment, in the sense that they're just okay.
It's a lot of name of country and history, but without the bite, without the real. You're not looking at, I think, either Italy and Germany right now and going, we're afraid of that team. That Norway team, you can be afraid of. But the other two, they got some work to do.
All right, well, here's how.
If only we get somebody to ask.
What?
Frank the Tank.
If only we're not going to bother Frank.
No, we're apparently not bothering Frank.
Oh, his line's gone down.
I mean, we can. Would you, Frank?
No, you said no.
Only because our producer was telling us no, Craig, but go ahead.
Well, we've got a French guy in to talk about France. And if he doesn't want the French guy to talk about France.
Yeah, I don't know, something, or maybe you want me to talk about Jamaica, but I don't know so much.
No, we don't need to talk about Jamaica now.
Frank, did you watch the game? It was that bad.
Of course not. I don't watch the game. Are you crazy or what? They were already qualified. No, I don't care. No. But to answer to your question, that's a very very interesting one, because you have so many individuals, so fantastic players, especially in the front line, that it's going to be picky and quite difficult for Didier Deschamps to pick the right one. And everybody wants to see Mateta playing, but everybody wants to see Giroud playing, and everybody wants to see Mbappe playing, and Olise, and Doué, and Bacola, and I don't know. I can name 10 players playing at front who deserve to be in the list, but it's only one guy who can decide, and it's Didier Deschamps for the last time.
Did you say Giroud?
Well, no, because I say Giroud, because Giroud is in the last year of his career. He's not going to be there.
Yeah,
but at the time, everybody was sometimes complaining why he's still playing, why he's not playing, why. And that was a debate every time. And we all had the debate for years about the front line of the national team. And this is what I named him. But it was the same when Griezmann was there. Should he play? Shouldn't he play? That's always the debate. But we have, again, so much quality at front that it's always a task for the coach to pick the right ones.
But Deschamps is historically, and we're going to do the whole show now in France.
I know. I was about to say, wow, I love this. Give me a break.
Yeah.
We gave you a queen. Come on, in Scotland, so take it easy.
But he has historically liked to have that physicality, so that others around could sort of feed off it. And that's probably why they had so much debate in France about, we have all this attacking play, but yet Giroud still plays. And Giroud's goal-scoring record, particularly for his country, was excellent. Now, I'm not saying Mateta is as good as Olivier Giroud, but he's in fine form and has been for a while for Palace, and he's a handful. He's something different. So it'd be interesting to see whether Didier Deschamps goes with him in North America in a few months' time, or whether he goes in a different direction. And that's me. I'm all out of France.
No more questions? Anyways, as Craig said, you could have a look at these stats, and Harry Kane, he's a pretty good goal scorer.
Yes, and Jude Bellingham's a bit of a baby, isn't he?
Oh, well, we're going to talk about that. Let's have a look at the group standings quickly, because like I said, England have already qualified for the World Cup. Albania, as we know, have gone into the playoffs. That's good news for an ESPN FC friend, Pablo Zabaleta, who's part of the coaching staff there. But as we were talking about Jude Bellingham, Craig, this is what Thomas Tuchel had to say about his reaction on being subbed off. He said, I saw that Jude Bellingham was not happy when he came off. I don't want to make more out of it, but I stick to my words. Behavior is key, and respect towards the teammates who came in. Decisions are made, and you have to accept it as a player. Well, at this moment, let's welcome in the other member of our team. Frank Leboeuf is joining us for this one, looking very intelligent with his specs. But Craig, what did you make of the Jude Bellingham reaction, and of course what Thomas Tuchel said?
And that's difficult for Frank to do.
Yeah. You miss his Halloween costume, don't you?
No. I think Jude Bellingham's got to have a look at himself in terms of the qualification campaign was well and truly over some time ago. This game was over. He has missed a chunk of the season with injury anyway. I think Thomas Tuchel was doing him a favour for Real Madrid in a sense. Every box was ticked. It's not like England's qualification was hanging in the balance,
Right.
Yeah.
and somebody was going to have a big moment like Troy Parrott had for Ireland. That wasn't there. That's when you get annoyed as a player, when you want to be out there to get that your teammates over the line, to have that big moment that we know he can do. That's when you get annoyed as a player. If you're a striker or whatever you are, you get taken off. You think, my God, I could have made the difference. There was no difference to be made here. This was just a substitution to give him a little rest at the end of the game.
In the 84th minute, too.
Yeah, and I think this just shows the pettiness that has crept in more and more to Jude Bellingham. It's not all about him, right? And whether you agree with what Thomas Tuchel says or not about him and Foden and Kane and what, it doesn't matter. He's the manager, and this will be the stick that Tuchel beats him with if it continues when the World Cup comes around. So, not a good look, bearing in mind there was nothing on the line at the end of the game. It just looks very childish.
Frank, what did you make of it? I heard you, of course, agreeing with Craig.
Yeah, it's as Craig says, pittiness. It's pittiness. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. It's 84th minute. I mean, the guy should have been happy, so he can go back to Real Madrid without being injured. And what a message that he gives to the fans and also to his teammates who just substituted him. Sorry, you're not good enough to replace me. No, I'm not happy. Are you coming on? You don't deserve that because I should stay. That's bad for the dressing room. The message is wrong. As Craig mentioned, we didn't need him for the last 6-10 minutes of the game. So what the point to make that? I mean, you want to be at the first page. Maybe us media, we shouldn't talk about it. We should refuse to talk about that because he give him some commercials or publicity, and he doesn't deserve that because that's not a good publicity.
Is there something in the air at Real Madrid? I'm being serious. Is there an arrogance with some of these players? We've had this discussion at length about Vinicius Junior, not so much with the Brazilian team, but with Real Madrid. Whinging and whining and blaming everybody and being petty when he gets taken off. And we saw it in the, was it the Clásico? It was the Clásico when it really reared its head, but it has reared its head before. And Jude Bellingham here, not for the first time. Is this some of the Real Madrid players said, you know, hey, Real Madrid.
Right.
Hey, Real Madrid.
You can't sub me.
I'm the guy that you pick and I'm the guy that you do not take off. It kind of smells a bit like that.
No, again, I think the part for me that's just that is so odd is there was nothing left.
Yeah.
No.
There was no reason. I mean, look, big match, big rival. You get subbed, you could be frustrated.
Correct.
But there's nothing here to be angry about, and you're angry about something for no reason, just to cause headlines and stupidity that doesn't need to be there after you comfortably qualified. You had a very good match to begin with. Like you said, the injury issues that now you don't pick up something silly when it doesn't matter. Yeah, this makes no sense.
Let's talk about something else. The guy doesn't deserve it right now.
Well, Frank, I suppose we speak about it so much.
One second. We kind of talk about this now and say, yeah, it's pettiness and it's a little childish and it's unnecessary. But behind the scenes, trust me, Thomas Tuchel is going to go into this World Cup, and the English media are as bad as the rest for stories and headlines, back page and front page.
Right.
And he does not need detraction from what he's trying to achieve on the field. And if this continues, and this goes into the World Cup, and say, for example, and we've talked about this, that Bellingham's not in, well, he'll be in the squad if he's fit, but say he's not in the starting 11. The cameras will be on him.
Oh, yes.
The cameras will be cutting to him, sulking, doing what he's doing, and if it's not that, it's been taken off. And then this sort of soaks its way into the World Cup, to the press, to the media, and all of a sudden the manager's getting asked about it. He's not getting asked about performances and this and that and that. He's getting asked about star players who are unhappy. Is the camp unhappy? Is the squad unhappy? Is there a mutiny in the camp, which we saw with France?
Well, I was going to say, we can talk to Frank about how...
Raymond Domenech, 2010 World Cup in South Africa, the French players wanted to chuck Domenech off a cliff. I mean, it was a mutiny. And Thomas Tuchel, he does not need players that are going to give him this kind of headache.
What I don't understand is the fact that guy has everything. He has the fame, he has the money, he's a nice-looking guy. He plays for one of the best teams in the world, for club, the best country in the world. And he's making a movie and a scene, at least, about the last 10 minutes or 6 minutes of the game. It doesn't make any sense, chill out, smile, the fans, they love you, the world loves you, you have everything. Calm down, breathe, that will be better.
But in the end, Mauricio Pochettino's men get the 2-1 win, and it was the return of the Giovanni Reina show. So let's hear what Poch had to say about him.
He scored, and I think he did a very good job. So happy with him. He showed why he started, and yes, confirmed that he's a player that need to improve because he need to play more in his club. But we can see today that he was great, scored and assist, and in the way that always the capacity to read the game and find the free space in between the line. I think that was a nightmare for Paraguay, and I think he did a very good job.
All right, so Giovanni Reina back in the U.S. camp since March, his first goal since last year at the Copa America, so over a year. Big moment for him. Casey, of course, you know him very well. He's battled through injuries, but what we saw from him last night, he really brought that X factor back to the USA. So, as I asked you yesterday, does he start based on what we've seen?
I think it's too early right now. I still think, you know, obviously he wants to get himself established at Gladbach, get more in the starting lineup. I think what he did do last night was show Pochettino that he gives that team something different that they don't have, and that of course, if you're playing, you know, here and there for your club, it's going to be hard to say, okay, go start, you know, 3 matches in a World Cup and go from there. But I think what he really showed was, it's going to be difficult to keep him off the squad, because if you need a goal at some stage, he gives you something different than anybody else.
Even with those numbers on that graphic?
Well, we don't have that squad, Craig, that you can just...
I know.
Yeah.
I get it. But even with those, when I was looking at that graphic, no goals, no assists, and not a lot of minutes, which is a worrying continuation for that player of recent times. But I do agree with Casey that as long as he's getting some minutes, and he's not injured, which has been a problem for him, then at least he's got a part to play, because he has got a skill set that will offer something different. Now, can you play 3 or 4 games on the spin in the heat when you're not getting much? I don't know. But the good thing for Pochettino is at least he's getting some wins at the moment. Now, I was telling Casey before I came on air, when you talk about some of the US fans and media spinning it. I saw a tweet last night, it made me giggle, that this is the first time in 10 years they've had 4 straight wins against teams in the top 40. FIFA, top 40. 40.
Reaching.
4-0, not 10, not 20, not top 15, the top 40. So that is a...
That tells you the tale.
Japan B team, Australia, Ecuador, and somebody else I can't even remember. But it's better than getting beat, which they were. And so at least it takes a bit of the heat off Pochettino for now until the real stuff comes along.
And the thing that's always important for everything kind of in this build-up to a World Cup, you're really starting to look around February. Who's playing? Because you still, right now, you had, I think, 8 players that could arguably be starters, not in this squad because of whatever reason, through injury or through... and I still don't understand it, some sort of favor to their clubs to not call them in and do something. But you're going to have those situations where somebody emerges that hasn't kind of been in the equation because somebody's been injured or somebody's out of form, or somebody hits form at the right time. And so, you know, a player like Gio gets himself into a situation with Gladbach where he's playing week in and week out. He's starting to really contribute on goals and assists. Somebody else is injured or out of favor for their team. So, yeah, there's a whole lot left to go.
On a scale of 1 to 10, bearing in mind we don't know the draw, we don't know form and fitness of the squad, where are you in terms of, with this US team at the World Cup, gets a decent draw, are you kind of 50-50 on how it's going to go, or a little bit more confident than that, or less? You know, you just think...
These last 2 camps have significantly helped in the confidence side of things.
Because you saw the bite back that you've been talking about.
Saw a little bit of, like, pride.
Right.
And then you also saw Pochettino starting to... I think look at the guys who are playing in Europe and going, okay, if they can give me the desire, there's clearly a quality difference as well. So that's giving me hope that he's looking at it and not just saying, hey, who is ever playing, you get to play. And now he's saying, well, wait a minute here. There's a little bit of a difference, and that gives me hope.
And I suppose, Casey, you brought this up yesterday when we were doing Football Americas and talking about this, but just the fact that the desperation to get a Gio Reyna back into the squad, despite the fact that he's been battling injuries, despite the fact that he's had limited club playing time, is because there's just no other player apart from Christian Pulisic that is quite like him in terms of bringing that X factor. And you look at who the US is going to face at the World Cup, and these big squads and teams like a France have 4 or 5 players with that X factor. But the USA, you said if it's not Gio Reyna, it only leaves you with 1.
Right. And so I think the difference what Gio gives you is there's a lot of midfielders that can keep possession by taking a touch and passing the ball backwards. There's very few that under pressure can go past a defender and bring somebody into play going forward in trying to score goals. And Gio doesn't lose the ball in midfield, but not only does he not lose the ball, but he doesn't lose the ball and then plays forward. And like I said, the U.S. doesn't have a lot of those guys. And so maybe when you're playing against a Haiti, you can create 8-10 chances to score 2 or 3 goals. When you're playing against the better teams in World Cup, you might create 2 or 3 chances, and you need that really good pass, that really nice play to get yourself out of pressure. You also, if you're, maybe only having 30-40% possession, you need that guy that can hold the ball as well and connect with somebody up front and not just give the ball away again and have more pressure come in. So that's where I think if Gio can get obviously more game time at Gladbach, start to really contribute, he can be a massive benefit to the national team.
This is what we can expect from the Interconfederation playoffs. We know that Bolivia have already qualified, as well as New Caledonia, and now Congo can add their names to that list as we await 2 more teams from CONCACAF. All right, well. Our Colin Udo, we were having technical difficulties, Colin, with your shot. We actually thought that you were just not wanting or not in the best mood to come on. But Colin, what happened to the Super Eagles?
Well, it happened. No World Cup for Nigeria 2 years in a row, or 2 cycles in a row. And it is just saddening. And look, in the end, we can talk about everything we want to talk about, but Nigeria put themselves in this position. Could have done this thing in the group phases, failed to do it, got another chance to do it. And, for everything that we talked about, how good they were in the first game, in this one, they were good for only 1 half, just like in that game against them, Gabon. But second half, they were nowhere to be found. Extra time, nowhere to be found. In fact, Congo DRC deserved to be here because they were the better team across 3 quarters of the game. And, look, the penalty kicks could have gone anywhere, and we know that these things happen. But I think at the end of the day, Nigeria did not deserve to go to the World Cup this cycle. And maybe, just maybe, if this leads to some sort of changes and reorganization in Nigerian football, maybe that is what is going to happen. But it's the end of the road now. And unfortunately, Alex, you're not going to get that Nigeria shirt. Or maybe you will get the Nigeria shirt, just not the way we planned it.
You can still send it to me. I will definitely wear it with some pride, Colin. But, oh, man, I don't like seeing a sad Colin. Craig, any questions? You're my co-host today.
No.
Colin, how's this going to be taken in Nigeria?
Come on, Craig.
Why?
Not very well, unfortunately.
At what point, because I didn't see it, at what point was Osimhen taken off and why?
He was taken up at halftime. I got a call into the team, and I found out that he had a hamstring, a bit of a hamstring problem. So that's why he was taken off at halftime. And I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but whenever Osimhen has played and scored or assisted, Nigeria have never lost a game. Whenever he has scored, we've never tied a game. So the moment he went off at halftime, my heart sank because I just knew that something bad was about to happen. But yeah, that's the situation, unfortunately.
Yeah, don't worry, Colin. I mentioned that in your absence.
Craig was up to date on his Nigerian stats.
Oh yeah, I'm stealing other people's information.
Yeah, that's
for my own use.
But there was a difference too in Nigeria when he came off.
Yes.
There was nothing up front, and where they just didn't look like they could hit on the counter. I think Colin made the point very well that DR Congo was better for the majority of the second half and almost for probably after the first 15 minutes. And I just kept waiting for Nigeria to do something to to at least maybe look like a threat. And it just never happened. And it looked like when Osimhen came off, that was it. It was like, okay, let's try to get to penalties and see what happens. And it didn't work out there either.
Yeah, Colin, and of course, from the semifinals of these playoffs, we did see that Congo definitely can pull off a big upset when they want to, when they're ready on their day. How big is this for the Democratic Republic of Congo to go through?
Oh, it's huge for them. I mean, they haven't been since 1974. Not many people were born by that time. And what they've done is they've systematically, incorporated players who were born abroad, who maybe represented other countries, the likes of Sogin Bakambu himself, Axel Transebe, and so on. So they've got, a whole lot of players who've come and added quality to that team. And it's huge for them because this sort of, makes that situation even better for them because now they can attract even more quality players and then they can also develop the ones at home. So, look, the World Cup always turns things around for countries that are serious. And if DRC are serious about this could take them back to being one of them the African giants.
Well, Colin, we absolutely empathize with you because all of us here at this table know what it's like for football heartbreak. I'll tell you that much from our countries. I'm not sure Craig cares that deeply, but somewhere deep down inside, I'm going to think he does care about Scotland. But
when I was playing, yes.
When you were playing, yes. Yeah. But Colin, what are you going to do now to lick your wounds?
Well, probably just go home and sleep and pray that this wasn't just a nightmare that I can wake up from. But yeah, it's a difficult time. Look, Nigerian football has gone through very difficult moments over the last maybe 10, 15 years. And I guess, look, if the people up there are serious, this might be a good time for soul searching. It did not happen the last time that we were to qualify the last World Cup, but maybe, hopefully, this time it happens, and maybe we can see some changes going forward.
All right, remember how I said Craig cares a lot about Scotland? Well, let's look at Group C because that is Scotland's group. They are currently in second, so in a playoff position. But Craig, they did lose to Greece. Up next, it's a big game against Denmark. How do you see this one going, especially at home?
I have absolutely no idea. Denmark have put themselves in a position by not beating Belarus at home. Denmark are the best team in this, or should be with the player pool in this group. However, they've left it hanging on Tuesday, I believe it is, in Glasgow at Hampden. They play Scotland, who, under Steve Clarke have got enough results, have not been brilliant to watch, and that's been a bugbear of a lot of fans. But some fans can't, just forget the fact that Scotland haven't been at a World Cup for 20 odd years, but they want this silky football to go with it. I don't know. I've played in a qualifying campaign where it's gone down to the last game at Hampden in Glasgow, and I know the pressure that will be, and it's how you handle that pressure of being a Scotland player in front of 50,000, probably in a wet night in Glasgow, playing a Danish team that are a little bit more talented, but with the chance to put your nation at the first World Cup since 1998. That's a lot of pressure on these players, and they'll either sink or swim. And that includes Denmark as well. So it's a tough one to call, but if you said to me as a player, you have a home game, you win it, you're in.
Yep.
And the team you're playing is not one of the elite European teams. It's a good European team in Denmark, but it's not a France or a Spain or someone like that. Then I would be quite happy with that as a player because it is in my hands, and that is where it is for Steve Clarke's players come Tuesday night. So it should be a very exciting evening, I would imagine. I won't be biting my nails because I'm not playing. It doesn't affect me. I'll be having a cup of tea and a sandwich and putting my feet up. What's wrong with you?
The romance is gone.
Have I got a tartan scarf and ginger hair and a bonnet on? No, I haven't.
No. Oh, that'd be wild if Craig were ginger. All right, well, speaking of pressure,
look at the state of him.
Stevie, I know, and we know Stevie definitely will be biting what's left of his nails for that game. But speaking of the pressure that Craig spoke about, it's not just Scotland that are feeling it. Germany, big game for Julian Nagelsmann and his men against Slovakia. Germany needs to avoid defeat to go through directly, or they'll find themselves in the playoffs, which I'm pretty sure they'd want to avoid. Well, we'll be talking about this game on tomorrow's edition of ESPN FC. Make sure to look out for it. All right, welcome into Extra Time. Alexis alongside Casey and Craig. Do we still have Frank with us? I believe we do.
Ever since Sebi had a meltdown, everybody mentioned short sheets now.
Yeah, because now everyone
Look at me not having a meltdown. Look at me.
You guys brought it up
Look how I handle this very stressful situation.
Short sheets can be stressful when they're not in order.
Yeah, I know. Well, what do you want? We'll hire somebody that comes down and puts them in order for you.
That's above my
Or
pay grade.
get here earlier.
I do.
Or prepare properly.
I do.
Like Casey and me.
You guys are analysts. You don't even look. Craig doesn't even have one shot sheet. That's just how good he is.
Hey, short sheets are in there. Sponge.
A wealth of
A
experience.
sponge.
Wealth of experience.
You know what in there?
What?
Brain.
Brain.
Not
Brain.
much.
Not
Brain.
much, but there's something
Just
there.
enough.
All right, let's get to the first question. It's for Craig. Craig, the one time that Cristiano Ronaldo didn't play and Portugal scored 9. Coincidence?
No coincidence, they were playing Armenia and Ronaldo would probably have scored a hat-trick.
Yeah.
But he'd have been gutted
Oh, to not have at least 2 penalties.
to not play in that game because
for
that
sure.
would have given his
Oh,
numbers.
he would have padded it.
His
Yeah.
numbers are fantastic anyway.
Yeah, there's no.
But
yeah.
that would just have taken his numbers.
Through the
So
roof.
yeah,
Yeah.
he'd have been okay.
Yeah. All right, next question is for Casey. Casey, apart from Messi in 2018, have you ever seen a player single-handedly carry their nation to the World Cup like Erling Haaland? Could Troy Parrott do the same in 4 months for the Republic of Ireland?
Well, I mean, Troy Parrott's got to be very happy to be
Yeah.
mentioned in the same
Yeah.
category as the
As
two
Messi.
aforementioned. But look, I think it doesn't matter who you're playing against. For your country, when you have an opportunity to shine, you talked about it. 5 goals in 2 matches to give themselves and to give Ireland an opportunity to go to a World Cup. You can't imagine that happening as a player, that you're able to do that against the likes of Portugal and Hungary away. So, yeah, give Parrott a ton of credit. And if he can now pop a couple more in the playoffs and actually when it matters, brilliant.
I think that's a little unfair on the rest of the Norway team.
Oh, yeah.
Because Haaland,
Yeah, he did score 16, but
he did. But he's been part of a Norway team before that has failed miserably.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
So
Yes.
they have given him a better platform
100%.
to do what he does best. So he's been around for quite some time since he's been a teenager.
Yep.
That's how good he's been.
And I think it's similar with Messi. That Messi needed to win it a supporting cast
Of
that
hard-working players
yes,
that were
can-
at a decent level,
Correct.
which they had.
Yeah.
The Rodrigo de Pauls and the Enzo and all these guys that really grab. And so for Erling
Lautaro
Haaland, it's the same.
Martinez, yeah.
Troy Parrott's slightly different. The Irish are, they are what they are. They're a little bit limited. His is a sort of, shot
Fairy
to stardom
tale.
story in the
Yeah,
last week.
yeah, that's crazy.
Erling Haaland has been about the Norway team for quite a few years, and he's just not had a good enough supporting cast. Now he has, and that's given him the chance to just absolutely flourish and continue to flourish.
Frank's been a little quiet. Frank, you want to weigh in on this with your Republic of Ireland knowledge?
Not that much, but I'm very happy to see them, going like that. I mean, it's always crazy when you score the last second of the last game, and you can go to the playoffs and maybe dream about something special. I mean, that's why we love football, because the uncertainty brings something into your core, and it's why we love that. We are not robots, we are human beings, and somebody suddenly makes something miraculous, and it's just amazing.
Frank, you seem to have disappeared halfway through the normal show, didn't you? The regular
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
No, I was listening to you. I didn't disappear. It's just the host of the show didn't want to ask me anything.
I was told not to bring Frank in when we were doing African qualifiers.
Well, that was my point. My point. That's the point I was going to get to. Was I'd have been long gone.
Yeah.
There's no way. I want extra
it's
time.
always-
Extra time. You want to steal in for extra time? You
No,
can stick
yeah,
it where the sun doesn't shine.
Yeah, but it's always
It's
always a special treat.
I'm not sitting listening to that guff for half an hour, whether it's me or anybody
You're
else.
such a pro, Frank.
In the
Such a
dark,
pro.
listening, going,
Yeah.
they're still piping on about Democratic Republic of Congo and the penalties, and I got to wait an extra time. No chance.
Well,
because you don't love each other, the other ones. It was a special treat to see Casey and yourself, talking about the bad karma of Gattuso.
Exactly.
Frank, if it were up to me, I'd have you in every segment.
I know that.
I know. Craig's romance is gone. Were you ever romantic?
Sorry?
Back in the day? Did you ever have a heart?
Your job's to ask questions.
Next question. That is a question.
Yeah, but a proper question.
You're not a shrink. It's too late for Craig.
Oh, it's too late. But one day we're going to warm the cockerels of his heart.
Well, maybe.
You struggle to get that.
One day.
Yeah.
No, it's just my accent.
You warmed something. I don't know where it was.
All right, next question. Should Marcus Rashford drop for Rafinha, or should he play as a number 9 instead of Lewandowski? I suppose at the rate he's going.
Oh, wow.
Or Torres. Ferran.
Yeah. What do you think?
I think personally, I wasn't sure how Rashford was going to fit in Barcelona, and with injuries, with kind of the younger crew that they have because of obviously their transfer issues. I think he's done brilliant.
Yeah.
And he's also not the focal point. At Man U there for a couple of years, he was such a focal point, and it was either he had to perform or there was issues. Where now he can just go and be complementary to other players, but he has contributed very well in that wide position. I think if he, for whatever reason, if Lewandowski gets injured again I think he could play centrally on occasion, but I wouldn't take him out of that wide left. I think he's done great.
What do Barca do
Yeah,
when
but-
Rafinha comes
But
back?
Rafinha,
Frank?
yeah.
Yeah,
Frank,
but Rafinha, if Rafinha comes back to its best, there is no competition.
Correct.
Rafinha is
Yeah.
going to get his position, and unfortunately for Rashford, it's going to be hard unless, as you say, Casey, Lewandowski get injured and Torres maybe get injured, then maybe he will have a chance to play. But that wasn't the deal. The deal at the time was, in case of injury, Rashford will have some chances. Luckily for him, Rafinha got injured, so he had to show his talent, and he did well. And I agree with you, Casey. He has been brilliant, but if everything goes back to normal, I don't see any room open to Marcus Rashford.
Craig, no room for Rashford?
Well, Hansi Flick's under a bit of early season pressure, particularly with the way they've defended, which is not an issue per se for the front line. Although you could say that the pressing starts from the front. Two things have fallen in Rashford's lap: the move and the Rafinha injury. Now, as Casey said, he has pretty much taken advantage.
Yeah.
He has contributed. He's looked dangerous. He's scored goals, and he's been really pacey on that left-hand side. But if you're a manager who has just had the season out of Rafinha that he had last year, then you have to figure that he's going to find a way to get him up to match sharpness and get him back in the team. And that's probably going to mean that Marcus Rashford is going to have to sit out. Now, we're talking about dropping him for Robert Lewandowski. Didn't Lewandowski just get back in the team before the international break and score some goals?
Yep.
And prove that he is still that penalty box striker, and he can be. So, I think when everybody's fit, Marcus Rashford will probably find himself back playing as a squad player.
But they don't have the biggest squad, and they're going to have a bunch of matches, so he'll still feature.
Yeah.
He'll still feature.
Yeah.
All right, next question. Is this season the most competitive in recent memory? Other than Arsenal and Wolves, the rest could beat one another on the day, as there are more than 2 clubs fighting for each place.
Well, I think you're looking at, I think the slow start that Man City had. Now they seem to be in form. Now Liverpool have seemed to have dropped off. I'll be interested to see what happens with Arsenal if this Gabriel injury maybe is a little worse. And
I don't think the timing of this question is perfect. Bearing in mind Arsenal's game before the international break, they dropped points from a winning position against a promoted team in Sunderland, who have done well. So I don't think their dominance of English football is to be anointed just yet. I mean, they've had a good start and they have looked the best team. They've looked the strongest team in every department. That has to be said. but there are still some areas there that it's not perfect. So I get what they're saying with Wolves. They're obviously struggling at the moment. They've just hired a new manager in Rob Edwards. But from Arsenal's perspective, they really, until they prove they can be the team that doesn't finish second and wins the league, the question mark is still going to be there, particularly with City, and we'll see what happens with Liverpool, whether they can put a gallop on or not. Go on, Frank.
I think Chelsea are hanging in there, Frank.
Yeah, no, Alexi, what I see behind that question is because they talk about the most competitive in recent memory. It says a lot about the level also of the football, where I barely saw, except last season and this season, an average kind of level of most teams. Where before you are like 6-7 teams above everybody fighting for the competition and winning the title, and as Tinker Taylor Marin as alluding is the fact that everybody is quite of average and cannot find his consistency that we always talk about. And even Arsenal, as we mentioned, they had a draw away from home, but against a very good Sunderland. But where those teams they really stand. That's my concern. I saw Paris Saint-Germain against Bayern Munich. I was wondering if the Bundesliga was that average or not. I saw fantastic Bayern Munich. So we can say Bayern Munich, maybe Paris Saint-Germain. But where stand Arsenal in the Champions League? We very soon will know. But I'm still asking that question. I'm still wondering because that's not a very good sign to see all those teams not being able to cope with some other team who are so-called less good than the others.
I love taking questions apart. It's one of my pastime hobbies.
Mm-hmm. Like a professor.
No, I just like ripping them to shreds, really. I mean, it's in the question here saying anybody can beat anybody other than Arsenal and Wolves by that insinuation, but Liverpool did beat Arsenal early in the season, and then they've dropped points at Sunderland. So there's no perfection here. So the question is I think aiming at is there anybody that Arsenal are just going to steamroll the rest of the league? Well, they've just dropped points and they lost against a Liverpool team, albeit it took a Szoboszlai great free kick in a game at Anfield. But Liverpool have struggled this season, and Arsenal lost to them. So yeah, it's not just the others that can beat each other. Arsenal can be beaten as well, because they have been this season.
Yep.
Okay. So, next question. To pick apart.
Better questions, please.
All right, better questions. Let's see if the next one's better. But it's actually for
How many
Casey.
people do you think just think I wish they'd just, I don't know, shoot him? Like I'm annoyed. They just annoy people.
I mean, there's quite a few of those. But the next question is for Casey. Casey, Gio plays poorly for club, but always brings it for the national team. Is he the James Rodriguez of the USA?
Well, I think part of the issue is I think I just want to see Gio stay fit.
Yeah.
And I think if Gio stays fit, I think he will prove himself at Gladbach and be a regular player as a regular starter as the season progresses. And then yes, then I hope this isn't a question. Then I hope it is a situation. But I think there is some validity to it right now in that Jaime somehow is able to perform for Colombia, but can't do it week in and week out at club side. So yeah, I want the best of both worlds. Of course, I want him to play well for the national team because I want the national team to do well. But as a former Gladbach player, I clearly want him to dominate for Gladbach as well.
Is that a better question?
Yes.
All right. Well, the next one's for you.
Oh, yeah, hopefully it's
Craig,
about Scotland.
If you're Troy Parrott's agent, are you looking to flog him to a Premier League club in January, or would you let him continue his development in the Netherlands?
He's playing for AZ
Alkmaar.
AZ Alkmaar, isn't he? Obviously, I don't know how often he's playing or how well he's playing, but yeah, no, I don't think anybody's going to buy anybody off the back of
a couple matches in qualifying.
Unless you're James Rodriguez, scoring a couple who just pitches up at a World Cup and does some brilliant things, and then people
or a Copa America or anything.
He's still at Rayo Vallecano, not getting a game. I don't know if he's.
No, I don't think so.
No, he's not.
No, I think he's made 2 moves since
then.
Yeah.
Yeah, let him enjoy his moment. But yeah, if this kind of stuff continues, and you know, when you're playing at international football, you do get obviously you're playing in bigger stages or supposed bigger stages, and then you go to a World Cup potentially, like Ireland could, and you're on another platform. I mean, I know players that went to a European Championship on free transfers, or they were on a free transfer at the time, or a Bosman, call it what you like, and that became a platform for them. Now that can go either way.
Yeah.
You know, it can go well or it can go badly. But yeah, obviously, I
don't think teams are recruiting as much as they used to out of international matches.
No.
And I think they are seeing more of kind of what are they doing for club? What are they doing now? Like you said, I think if a player is circumstantial that they're out of contract and they're like, hey, let's see how fit he is. Let's see what he's doing. And then the only matches in competitive matches you can watch him in happens to be an international match. And they'll go,
Casey, let's say that nobody knows Erling Haaland and you watch him and he plays for a club in Norway and you see him scoring with Norway. I think now people will be pushing all the door of his parents' house or agent's house to make sure he can sign for any club, because he proved during those qualifications that he's somebody special. So yeah, for Parrot it's maybe too early, but for team players like let's say Alan will not be known. Yeah, people will be pushing to get him.
Because I think just to go on the transfer stuff, I think to Casey's point, the international thing is like a little bonus. Because I think what a lot of clubs are doing now, obviously, some more than others, they're using not just their scouting department, but they're using the data, but the data analysis, they're taking it from your club, from your week to week, your 3 games a week or whatever it is you're playing, 2 to 3 games a week. They're taking all that data from that, how many minutes you play, how many injuries you've had, how many assists, how productive you've, all that sort of stuff. They can get that in the press of a few buttons, and that's where they're dragging these players most of their information from. And then they're obviously watching with the eye test as well. When it gets to the international football, that's a kind of sideshow, but it's not something that's never looked at.
Correct.
But it's particularly in this day and age where you take a lot of these clubs and they're looking on the computer about what you can do. It's not just about sending a scout to the stadium and say, oh yeah, I saw Troy Parrott 4 times and he's a good player. Those days have pretty much gone now.
Are gone. All right, well, final question now, and this one's for Frank. Frank, who's your favorite singer?
Oh
wow, that's a strange question, because if I name some French people, you won't know them.
Well, they don't have to be French.
Who sang that song, Je le Taxi?
Oh, that was Vanessa Paradis.
Melissa Paradis.
She was
Do you
first in
remember
the
you're too young for that?
English chart. She was first in the English chart.
Yeah.
Je le taxi, il va pas partout. That was a horrible song, but
like
the English loved it.
Wow.
But I'm a big fan of Frank Sinatra. I'm a big fan. Whose song? I'm the first, the last, my everything, with that very low voice. I forgot his name. You're the first, you're the last, my everything. Come on, everybody knows that.
Michael Bublé.
Barry White?
Come on. Barry White. Thank you very much, Alexi. I'm a big fan of Barry White as well. Of course, Michael Jackson. I'm just with my wife. We're just waiting for the movie to come out in France because we want to see it. Because he's a legend. He's a real legend. Yeah. And Bob Marley. Just to name you,
well done.
Big fan. I play with his son. I play soccer with his son.
Oh, which one? He's got a few.
There's a team there you could have played against.
I played with Ziggy, with Hollywood
Ziggy Marley,
we played against David Beckham. I played alongside him in the midfield. And we lost. I think we lost big time. But it was fun.
All right, there you go. Well, that's it. Those are Frank's favorite singers. Craig doesn't like music, and we'll get into Casey's.
I'm a little bit at the moment. I'm enjoying at the moment the Foo Fighters.
Nice.
Just now.
I like Dave Grohl.
It's a bit of a blast from the past.
Good, I like it.
What? Blast from the past. They're still great.
I mean, I know, but like
they've just got a new drummer. Dave Grohl, that man can do everything. drum, guitar.
100%. Well, the first album, he played every.
You know who Dave Grohl is?
Yes,
was
yes,
the drummer
of
from
course.
Nirvana.
Yeah, I do
For
know.
Kurt
I do know Foo Fighters.
Kurt Cobain obviously
Yes.
passed away, and he formed the Foo Fighters. Not everybody's cup of tea, but they can.
I know the Foo Fighters.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not necessarily number one on my playlist. I played a lot
What
in
about the
Jamaica.
Goo Goo Dolls?
Yeah,
No.
I do love the Goo Goo Dolls. Iris, right?
Iris.
What a banger! What a banger! I think I was like in fourth
Who's the
grade when
lead
that
singer?
came out. Wait, give me. What's his first name?
Johnny.
Okay, no, I don't know.
Johnny
He had
Reyes.
great hair though. He had those
Not
little
into
side
music that
curtains.
much.
All right, well, we're gonna wrap things up here. Now we know that Craig does like music as well. He likes something. Well, we'll be back on ESPN
pick on me
FC tomorrow. Craig, you back tomorrow?
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
For the big Scotland game.
Oh yes,
There you
he
go.
will be.
Had to be.